Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashemi Hashai, Bahashemi Kodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, who are the true leaders of Israel today, and salutations to all of the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, who are risking their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen but are not, by way of their forefathers' seeds, who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai, and the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as we're the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Ezekiel, and I'm from the GMS Jamaica Kingston camp. And this video is about the prophecy in Ezekiel chapter 38, specifically the part where it talks about Turkey. Okay, so let's just jump into the precept. In Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 2, it says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. This is referring to the Russians, as the Russians dwell in that land where Gog and Magog once dwelt, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, still talking about the Russians, and I'll turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I'll bring thee forth all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. So the Lord will be putting a spirit upon Russia to go to war. And we know, based off of the scripture in Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14, the second woe is past, talking about World War II, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So Russia will be going to war, all right, during World War III. There will be the main side of one side, and the other side will be America and her allies. And America is known as Mystery Babylon the Great. All right, the whore that rideth the beast. Okay, and thus saith the Lord. Back to verse 4. All of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So a great company meaning Russia's allies. And when you take a look at the world today, who is aligned with Russia? All right. Well, the scripture lets you know who will be. It says Persia, who is Iran. Okay. And they are the biblical Elamites. You have Ethiopia and Libya. With them, all of them with shield and helmet. Ethiopia and Libya refers to the African nation, so-called, who are the biblical Hamites. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands and many people with thee. And this right here, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, is referring to Turkey, okay, the nation of Turkey. So what this is saying is that Russia will be going to war. It will bring its allies, and Turkey is one of its allies that will go to war. Okay, now when you look at the world today, Turkey is a part of NATO, right? So Turkey is aligned with America, which is the whore, NATO, which is the beast, and the 10 horns, which is the European Union. They're all in one alliance. But the scripture says that Turkey is going to be siding with Russia. So what does that mean? You take a look at what's going on in the world regarding Turkey's relationship with the West, right? And you can clearly see what's happening. As biblical prophecy states that Turkey will be joining Russia, you can see that the relationship between Turkey and its allies over in the West is deteriorating. There's an article posted back on February 21st, 2024. Turkey is back from the cold with NATO, and F-16 moves, but thorny issues remain. So the cold with NATO, right? Because their relationship has been deteriorating for several years. Okay, it's very rocky, and it says it, but thorny issues remain. So the problems still remain. So I'll just read the key points. Relations between Turkey and the West have been strained, to say the least. But with Turkey's decision to allow Sweden into NATO in late January, a move that required unanimous approval by all 31 members of the alliance, it's as if a switch was flipped. Turkey seemingly has a unique position that allows it to push the envelope and cross lines with its NATO allies, you see? So this is biblical prophecy. This is the buildup of Turkey eventually fully joining Russia and her allies. Okay, now most recently, 2 days ago, Turkey-Israel relations at an all-time low. Now you may be wondering, why is this important? Well, when you look at the world, okay, and the relationship between America and NATO and America and the state of Israel, it is obvious and clear to see that America serves the state of Israel, right? It is as if America was built to protect the state of Israel, okay? So for Turkey to have issues with the state of Israel, of course, that is going to further deteriorate the relationship between Turkey and the West, okay? And here is it in the scriptures. It shows you that America is a defense for the state of Israel. Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 45, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he had taken against Babylon, referring to America, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, referring to the Edomites, who are these so-called white people who are in rulership today. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. The least of the flock is referring to the state of Israel, the Israelis. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them, right? So the state of Israel is going to be doing things, and you can see the constant tension that they're building against, you know, the opposition, right? And so eventually it's going to reach to a point where America is going to defend the Israelis, right? And even right now, in regards to America, you can see this new bill that they passed, the anti, I can't even say the word, right? Because you know how it is. But they had that bill, which is a protection for the Israelis, right? And that bill felt like it just came out of nowhere, okay? So they're always with them, okay? So this right here, let's look at this situation.
Now, Israel's foreign minister has accused Turkey of blocking Israeli imports and exports. Israel Katz said the action by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is breaking trade agreements. He posted a statement on the social media network X saying, "This is how a dictator behaves, disregarding the interests of the Turkish people and businessmen and ignoring international trade agreements." Mr. Katz also said he'd instructed officials to create alternatives to trade with Turkey. Well, let's get more from our correspondent Dorian Jones in Istanbul. Welcome, Dorian. So, has this cessation of trade and imports into Turkey, has that been confirmed? And what else do we know about this?
Well, as of yet, this story has come from the Bloomberg news agency, citing Turkish officials who says, as of today, Thursday, all imports and exports to Israel have ended. Now, there hasn't been any confirmation from anyone, including the Turkish president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, but the Israelis have appeared to confirm this and have strongly condemned the action. Now, Turkey has maintained trade relations with Israel in spite of the very fiery rhetoric coming from Turkish President Erdogan, who has routinely condemned Israel. But at the same time, behind-the-scenes trade was largely unaffected. And in fact, in 2023, bilateral trade accounted for around $6.8 billion, of which Turkish exports accounted for 5.1. And that was very contentious among the opposition, who accused Erdogan of double standards, particularly as it's understood that much of the exports from Turkey were very sensitive, including aviation fuel, steel, which critics of Erdogan said were being used for the Israeli war machine. Now, after the big setback in March local elections, which Erdogan saw many of his traditional supporters abandoning him, especially the religious voters, Erdogan's government announced that 54 items were banned from being exported to Israel, including aviation fuel. Now we understand that Erdogan has gone a step further and has now banned all exports to Israel, although Erdogan himself hasn't said anything of yet, and he releases news through an international news agency rather than domestically, which is raising questions. Possibly Erdogan wants to give him some wiggle room of possibly stepping back in the near future.
Is this likely to be a popular move, Dorian?
Well, undoubtedly, among his religious voters, this will be very much welcomed. In fact, we've seen numerous protests where you've seen rarely secular.
All right, so while this was playing, I actually did a Google search, right, to bolster the point. And as you can see from this video, Turkey has blocked trade with the Israelis, all right, which they're not going to like that. And the relationship is already a certain kind of way, but, you know, stay tuned. But while this was playing, I Googled Israel and NATO, and something came up straight from the NATO website, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And the article that comes up that was posted on October 12, 2023, NATO Secretary General, Israel does not stand alone. Okay. And the article says NATO allies condemned the horrific attacks by Hamas against Israel in a meeting of defense ministers on Thursday, October 12, 2023. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant briefed ministers by video conference on the atrocities by Hamas perpetrated against Israeli civilians and the nationals of several NATO allies. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said that NATO condemned the attacks in the strongest possible terms, adding, Israel does not stand alone. So what does this say straight from the NATO website? NATO stands with the Israelis. So this is going to be developing in a certain kind of way. All right, I can foresee it, right? But the prophecy says that the Turkey will join Russia and her allies, right? And then there's this other one that came up also 6 months ago, that it says the case for upgrading Israel's major and it says that it's a major non-NATO ally from jinsa.org. All right, so yeah, man, they stand with them. I'm just going to bring out one more preset, okay, because we'll just continue watching this. I'm bringing it out each time there's an update. This is Mark chapter 3 and verse 26. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but hath an end. And Esau is Satan, okay, the adversary, right? The wicked are in rulership, and the wicked are at odds with each other, okay, as it appears to be, you know. And the kingdom that's in rulership, that has all of this in-house fighting, it simply cannot stand. There must be harmony among them, and there's no harmony between America and her allies and Russia. Russia has actually gone ahead and recruited the other heathen, to stand with them, okay? And all of this will actually eventually lead to this. In Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest, which is the European Union, upon the beast, which is NATO, these shall hate the whore, which is America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire, and this is saying that even the European Union and NATO will turn against America, and they will aid in her destruction. They're going to shoot missiles at her, okay? So right now, you're seeing Turkey, but eventually all of her allies are going to turn against her. And of course, you know, when it is that America goes to war over there in the so-called Middle East, they're going to lose. As it was mentioned before in the Jeremiah, where it says the least of the flock, it says that it shall make their habitation desolate with them. So when America gets drawn out by the Israelis to go to war, they're going to lose over there to Russia. But at the end of World War III, neither will win. America will be destroyed, yeah, but that's not a victory for either of the Edomites. That is the victory of the Israelites, specifically the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay, because that's when Yahushua will be returning to deliver us. Lord willing, I'm a part of that number. So with that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yeshai, Bashman Kodesh, Shalom.